Welcome back, decoders. As we turn the page on a new year, we're dedicating this entire episode to two things: setting goals that actually stick and finding the personal power required to break every career ceiling put in front of us. And I couldn't imagine having this candid conversation with anyone else. I'm thrilled to welcome my longtime friend and fellow entrepreneur, Melissa, who you may know if you know her name is Dot. Dot and I have known each other since the AAF and Ad 2 days when she was working for the Las Vegas Review Journal. And we've navigated the wild shift from structured career paths to building our own empire. This is a real talk about growth, vulnerability, and turning big ambitions into actionable systems. Dot, welcome to Codebreakers.
Thank you, friend. Thank you for having me.
We're excited to have you. So before we start to dive into the goals and growth, I'd love for you to walk the decoders through your career journey. So how did you go from being at the Las Vegas Review Journal and getting involved with Ad2 to where you are now as a successful entrepreneur? And what were some of the key pivots that define that path?
So I guess I can start with college. I studied journalism and mass communications, and then I actually switched over to PR. But in the midst of all that, I joined a student programming council, and I had always loved events and bringing people together. But it was when I was organizing, spring fling concerts, comedy shows, homecoming dances that I was like, man, I want to learn everything it takes to put together any kind of event. So when I moved to Vegas after graduating, I pivoted from being in legal because I had worked that the majority of my time from high school through college
Yeah.
to really diving into events. And then when I met you, I had pivoted from events to what I studied, which was communications. But it doesn't matter where I am in events, I always end up in marketing. So I wanted to get to know more of the marketers, more of the advertisers and people in communications. And that's when I joined AMA and AAF, and I was supporting with the Chamber, Las Vegas Chamber, Vegas Young Professionals. And then I pivoted back to events. I, I had just realized I missed a lot of the creativity. I missed the outlandish requests and fulfilling them, and seeing people's faces when they first walk into a space or, entertainment or talent comes on. I really missed that. And although I got to experience that with the Review Journal, I was just missing, being in that completely. And
Yeah.
so, that was the pivot back to events. But I had worked in so many different sides of events, but I was never on the venue side. And I remember making a vision board, and I'm like, in a couple years, I want to be running a venue. I want to know what it's like to be able to negotiate with a venue. And the owner of Freshwater reached out to me, and she's like, hey, can you run my venue? And I'm like, that was fast. That was only 3 months board. But I gladly accepted that challenge. And here we are 8 years later.
Love that. We love to do hard things. We love to do hard things. I definitely had that same kind of journey between, joining all these organizations to kind of find where I actually wanted to be. And so I can totally resonate with you with going from, AAF and being with the Vegas Chamber and attending all these VYP events and Atu events and brand beer events and just trying to really figure out where we fit in this big old world of marketing and marketing adjacent and like you said all these different things you can do. So I absolutely love that, and life has a way of pulling you back to where you desire to be or where you should be, so that hence you continue to be back into the event space.
Yeah. There was, I would say for the most part, there was a lot of character development in that process.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was that. I think that is my biggest takeaway from operating in event space, and being, the leader in that realm. A lot of character development, a lot of learning lessons, and I think it's just made me a better person, a better team member,
Yeah.
Love it.
Yes, that is a huge lesson to learn as well, because a lot of times we are our biggest critic when it comes to certain things, but then you have all the outside world speaking to you, and I don't know if you're like me, but I'm a super self-reflector. So after I have different conversations and meet with different people, I go home and I'm like, man, I hope that conversation was great. I hope I didn't offend anybody. I hope I didn't, all of the different things that come with building and growing your character,
Yeah.
and
So I
so
find that as long as I'm anchored in peace and coming from a place of love, I can navigate any difficult conversation, any conflicts. So yeah, if something happens and it's fresh, I'm usually pretty quiet. I like to sit on it. I don't like to respond or react too quickly because I want to make sure it's coming from a place of peace and, with love. So
yeah,
that was a huge piece of character development in
I can
operating
resonate
the
with that.
space. Hmm.
Yeah, I have someone in my life who always is like, because I am one who kind of has to get it off when something happens. I've always been like that, or it'll bother me. But I have to learn within, oh, over the years, I gotta sometimes just let that shit cool,
Yeah.
as a person
Whether
would
I'm like
say.
really excited or really upset, those are not the best times to make decisions or commitments and necessarily respond. But yeah.
Yeah, love that. Okay, so what was your biggest aha moment that made you realize, okay, I need to build my own glass ceiling, and not crash through someone else's?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say my biggest aha moment was I was working on a team, and I don't know if it's like the OCD or being a little anal or just starting off in legal, but I have this certain level of organization that I really don't bend on organization and documentation. Also, just managing people, how I like to hold people accountable, hold myself accountable. And I was working with someone and supporting that person. I wasn't necessarily the lead. And I saw all these issues. So I decided to uh, document them and speak to everybody and just kind of put everything together with what the issues were and potential solutions. And I presented it to the lead, and it was not well received. And I was doing that with the best intentions. I wanted to
Yeah,
help so badly. I wanted to try to make people working on this team a little bit happier, have things run smoother. I was like, this is going to be a slam dunk. We can all work on this together. Everybody contributed. And yeah, that was not well received. And that's when I realized, like, what am I doing here?
yeah,
I'm like, if I felt so confident to do that and it was received poorly, why am I not running my own team or organization or whatnot? So that was my aha moment. Somebody I was looking to as a leader, not responding to the support that I wanted to offer for the leadership and the team's sake. So that was my
yeah.
aha moment for sure.
So I was just having a conversation with someone a few nights ago where her she's in that kind of same space. I was saying, when you don't, when you can love what you do, and it'll absolutely be fun and it doesn't feel like work. But then when you are in a space where the people are not receptive, or you're not around people who genuinely enjoy the things that you enjoy, then it can make it feel like work again. So I feel like that's a part of what you're talking about.
Yeah. No, I still have so much love and respect and continue to work with the same team that I'm referencing, but it was definitely an aha moment for me.
Okay, so let's touch on your book. You have a book,
I
Anth-
do.
anthropology. Oh my gosh.
Anthologically speaking, I know it's a mouthful.
Anthropologically
I
speaking.
know. I'm like, why'd you do that?
Logically speaking, it's so funny because I was saying this over and over again, and now all of a sudden I'm here and I can't say it anthologically speaking.
Yeah.
Let's touch on your book. Let's talk about it.
So I have been writing poetry since I was like in middle school, high school for sure, but I think middle school was around the first time I started to really nurture that. So over 22 years, and I would just sit on it. A couple times I would muster up the courage to share it in a public setting, but it was very seldom. It would just be with close friends here and there. And yeah, I kind of just hit this point where I felt super rewarded in my career, but not fulfilled. And I wanted a creative project of my own. So I said, okay, I want a coffee table book. And I wanted to be filled with art and poetry. So I started to organize the book and commission artists. And yeah, I put together, anthologically speaking, over the course of 2 years. And it was a game changer for me because I operate in a very business administrative mindset. And
Yeah.
when you're in the artist space, it's really just creative flow.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I remember reaching out to one of the artists and saying, okay, well, can you sign this release? And here's the agreement. Let me get your invoice and W-9. And he looked at me like, what? And then, yeah, reaching out to the artist and saying, hey, how much is it going to be to put you in my book? And one artist was like $10. I'm like, what? I'm like, no. So, yeah, just getting into that.
Hence why we're out here starving, okay? We need to get rid of starving artists. We need to. Art is not, it is not cheap, especially, and it's not fast when it's good art. Like, people take days and months sometimes to get that specific vision that they're trying to achieve. We need to stop starving artists.
Yeah.
We need to stop starving from
Well,
artist to artist.
I think part of it was because of the friendships too. A lot of the artists I do have relationships with, and
Yeah.
they just wanted to support, and that I do love about the artist community. They definitely want to support fellow artists, and I think it's
Yeah.
beautiful. But yeah, I self-published the book on Amazon, and I just wanted to maintain control. Because if I went to a publisher, they could change the title, edit the poems, abandon
Yeah.
the art. And I just really wanted this first baby to be mine completely. So yeah, it's been out since March. I have a little over 100 copies sold, and that's with like
Yes.
minimal marketing and push. But I definitely want to make that more of a focus in 2026.
Well, I'm glad that you brought that up about publishing and how you, I guess, went about the process for people who are looking to start their own book. I know a lot of entrepreneurs, it's usually like, I know the advice I got was, okay, you're an entrepreneur, you want to be a speaker, you want to be in certain spaces. Now you need to write a book so that you have that authority. But what advice would you give to someone who is looking to write a book? I know you said you wanted to self-publish because you wanted to have all this control. You put it on Amazon. What does that look like, and what advice would you give?
Um, well, because I wear many hats, I I ended up laying the book out myself, and I ended up editing also myself, and I had this I can do it all mentality. And the advice I would give someone is not to be afraid to ask for support, and not to feel butthurt if you don't get it, but to
Yeah,
feel determined, to feel confident in accomplishing the project. And you can always go back and fix it and make it better. But don't stop, even if you aren't sure how to approach it or you don't receive the support you were intending to. Just keep going. Because there were times where I was designing the cover originally, and I was racking my brain how to bring a design to life. But next thing you know, I reached out to a buddy of mine, Javon Isaac, and I told him, I was like, listen, this is where I am, but how do I layer this design? And he was like, send me what you have. And he took it to another level.
Love that. I love
Yeah,
that.
he took it to another level. So, and
Sometimes we're just like looking at something and racking our brain on it, and that's all it takes is for that other eye to be put on it to take it where you want it to go.
yeah,
I love that.
yeah. So that's my
Okay.
baby.
Well, I hope to see more success in that. Congratulations on the over 100 copies sold that you have. Hopefully within the new year, that'll grow even more. So
Yeah.
I'm rooting for you. Let's move into some mindset shifts. What is one specific non-glamorous mindset habit you're focusing on this year that you know will make the biggest difference for your success?
This coming year, I've been thinking about this because I just do that at the end of every year. I think of what am I going into the new year with, and I think it's reconciliation with my inner and outer world. I feel that in my inner world, I hold a lot of hope and faith, and I just see things a little bit as they could be, and I need to reconcile that with what it is externally. I don't know if it's just being a hopeful romantic or just being a little wanderlust and just super creative, but there are some instances where what I was imagining and perceiving was not what was really happening in front of me. So yeah, just reconciling that, and then it requires just being honest with yourself. There are things that we tell ourselves because that's how we would want it, but at the same time,
Mhm.
that's not what it is. So just having
Yeah,
that honest cup of tea with yourself and moving with that honesty as well. So
yeah.
I'm focusing on that going into 2026.
Oh, I feel that so much. I do. I don't know if it's like the time and the place and the space that we're in right now. Because me and you are within the same age bracket. We were having a conversation before where a lot of things that you said really resonated with me and vice versa. And I don't know. I 100% feel that. I don't know if everyone in this same range is going through the same thing, especially if they're on this journey, but it's a heavy truth.
Yeah, it is, and I think it's beautiful because I'm still going to be very hopeful, but I just have to bring a little more pragmatism back into into that.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm a dreamer by nature. My sign is all about living in the clouds and being a dreamer. And, I mean, for me, I feel like without that, I don't know, it kind of keeps me going. It keeps me going day to day, having those hopeful thoughts for sure.
Mhm.
All right. So, is there a specific mental code you had to break last year or within this 2025 season to get to where you are now, today?
Yeah, making fear-based decisions, and
Mm,
it's I'm
mm,
that's something I'm always going to work on. It doesn't just break once and that's it. It's catching
hmm.
yourself. I've been catching myself. There are quite a few decisions and just actions I would take because fear has guided me that way. And that's not how I want to live. That's not how I want my life to be influenced. I mean, obviously, there's
Yeah.
a degree of sensibility that can come from fear, but it's a matter of not letting that cripple you, letting that empower you, letting that expose, some vulnerabilities or thought patterns that might need to be released. So
Hmm.
that was a big thing this year, especially with publishing my book and sharing my poetry. I was scared to get on
Yeah.
stage. I was nervous how that would be received or what people would think. And I would say no. There would
Yeah.
be times I'm invited on stage and I'm like, no. And I would say no because I was scared. So I was like, I got to release making decisions based off of fear.
I think you'd be great on stage too, which is so crazy. Like, my perception of you and your perception of, the things that make you fearful are completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you'd be great on
I'm
stage.
working on it. I'm working on it. I think that's going to be a huge chapter in my life, getting on stage. And yeah, I'm not one that enjoys being in the limelight. Maybe in a small circle when I'm with my friends, I'm the life of the party, I'm the hoot. But
Yeah,
when
for
it's
sure.
a huge group, no, I tend to kind of step back, and now I'm just trying to shift that reflex.
Yeah. I tend to think I don't have enough fear because I literally am like, yep, I can do it. I can do it all. Even if I don't know or never done, I'm gonna do it and I'm gonna figure it out. I think I can have a little bit of fear going into the new year, but I don't know. I'm more of the like, let's jump and let's
Well,
do it.
here's the weird thing. I'm able to do that for other people, no problem. It was a matter of doing it for
Mm,
myself. If my friend goes,
mm.
"Hey, I'm nervous to make this announcement," girl, give me the mic. I'll go get on there. But if it were me, like, "Hey, get up there and go talk about yourself," I'm like, no. So yeah,
I think talking about ourselves is hard, though. It's a very hard thing to do when, even just in the elevator pitch, people ask, what is it that you do? Tell me about yourself. And it's like, oh, shoot, I do a lot, but like, how far is going too far with tooting my own horn? But I do want to talk about everything and everybody else. So I, I do get that too, for
yeah.
sure.
I want people to feel me, not just see me and know what I do. So a lot of times
Yeah.
when people lead with, "Hey, what do you do?" Sometimes I want to roll my eyes.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, if you're genuinely interested in me and who I am, it doesn't just start by with what do you do. So
Hmm.
yeah, but yeah, it's hard to talk about myself. I don't necessarily want to be pigeonholed as, "Oh, you're the event planner," or, "Oh, you're the poet."
Yeah.
Like, no, you're that intelligent, beautiful, funny. Like, that's who
Yeah.
I am, not what I do. So
Yeah. That's 100%. I think we learn these things coming into these corporate worlds, and it's like you got to learn the elevator pitch. You got to know, and it kind of silos us as an individual because yes, I do this for my 9 to 5, my day to day. This is who you know me to be, but I'm so much more. I'm deeper than that. I do so many other things than this one
mhm.
thing. But then you can turn around and recognize this other person who does probably the same thing as I do outside of what I've pitched to you. And in my mind, it's like, well, I do that too. It is deeper. So how do we move past the elevator pitch to getting deeper with someone?
Asking those interesting questions. I love coming up with random icebreakers every week. I have dinner with a couple friends. So I always have this one, I don't want to say it's an outlandish question, but one of those questions that are like, hmm. And one of my latest ones are, what was the last thing that made you scream, squeal, or scream?
Mm,
I know it's a mouthful again, that's me. But yeah, and that was interesting because now I'm hearing about things in their lives without being like, "What'd you do today?" I'm learning about something
yeah,
that impacted them and how and what, reaction it kind of got out of them. And then we can start to dig a little bit deeper. So, yeah, I like to ask interesting questions.
that's fun. That's
Yeah,
super fun. Now you got me thinking, what is the last thing made me scream or
I
squeal?
feel like I squeal all the time. That's my excitement, you know. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think the last thing that made me scream or squeal was some holiday decor that came in. I wasn't expecting it, and when I just saw how massive and gorgeous it was, I was like,
Yeah. I love those moments too, for sure. And it is the holiday season. I am so like caught up in so many different things. And you know what? I can say my baby was probably the last thing that made me do that. Just she is 6, and she said something recently like, it's just the looking at Las Vegas, and we're driving down from like Centennial Hills area, and you can see like all the lights in the city, and she's just like, it's just so beautiful in my city. And I was like, oh my gosh. Like, what? Okay, look at her. Yeah, I think that's probably, yep, made me go. All right, so let's tackle the glass ceiling. Is there a specific moment in your career, either in nonprofit work or entrepreneurship, where you felt that resistance, that ceiling most accurately? I think you kind of touched on it
I
already.
did.
Um,
Um,
so,
but to answer that or expand on that, I remember starting at a job and thinking I landed my dream job. I remember calling my mom, calling my dad, and then just telling them like, "This is it. I found my dream job." And fast forward 2 years, I hit that glass ceiling, and that's the thing with glass ceilings. You don't know until you hit
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah,
But
for
I hit
sure.
that glass ceiling, and I there was a little bit of an ego death where it's like, well, I gotta put myself back out there. I'm, no longer established anywhere, but I felt confident. I felt very confident into where I was going next, which was just leaning a little bit more into communications. And, a couple
Hmm.
people that I looked up to, they were very encouraging. They were like, you can do this. Like, you got this. I don't know if you know
Yeah,
Graham Carr. Okay.
no,
But he
I
was
don't know
someone
Graham.
that I had looked up to. He was working with Zappos at the time, and then he switched over to a media company. And when he told me you could do this, that meant so much. So
Yeah,
yeah, no, that glass ceiling, you don't see it coming. Once you hit it again, it reverberates. It's kind of just like, oh well, what next? What am I going to do?
yeah,
And yeah, that's where you pivot. Someone else told me this incredible line where it was like, don't be afraid to change your mind or change your decision or direction.
yes,
He's like, you're building yourself up and you're building your beliefs and all that stuff. And he's like, don't be afraid to let it go when it no longer serves you. And I was, wow.
yes. That is a hard one. And I think we all need to hear that a lot more because, especially growing up, it's like, you get on this path, you try to stay on that path. And it's especially when it comes to typical careers like being a doctor, a lawyer, things like that. But we're in a whole different space. And I think we have that mindset of like, oh, I failed because I didn't do what I came to do. But in actuality, you did do what you came to do. It's just time to pivot.
Yeah.
I'm thankful that you had that person. So when you did break that glass ceiling, was it slow chipping away or a dramatic smash?
It was a combination of both. You're chipping away slowly, and then you're ready for the smash through.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was chipping away slowly when I started my creative consultancy. And first, it was just people reaching out to me like, "Hey, I'm working on something. I could use your mind or your creativity, or hey, can you take a look at this? Let me know how you make it better or what you would change." So I naturally had folks coming to me for special projects. And when I was just like, I could do this, I could start my own consultancy, that was when I broke through the ceiling and I designed my website in a weekend, got everything up and running in a weekend. I don't think I even really slept that weekend. I was so jazzed with so much energy. And I was working on a massive New Year's Eve project with a friend at the time. And I invested, I would say about like 18, $19,000 into this project. That wasn't the intention, but that's where it led. And after it failed and it was on somebody else's project, that's when the glass ceiling broke. I'm like, if I could do that for somebody else, imagine what I could do for myself.
That's where it's
So
at.
yeah, that's when the glass ceiling broke. That's when I started moving different. After I hate to use the word failure, but after that massive lesson, I was just like, yeah,
Yeah.
I really can do it. I can do it for myself. I can do
Mm,
anything. And yeah, I just started, it brought so much confidence. I never thought that such a lesson would bring that much confidence. Because at the time I was looking
yeah.
at it as a failure. But once I pivoted
Hmm.
that word or understanding, I was like, wow, that lesson brought so much confidence. I moved very different after
Yes.
that.
Yes. Okay, for sure. So what was, I guess you just touched on that too, one piece of debris, like a negative thought or belief you were happy to leave behind. So you just said it, that pivoting
Yes,
that
that's
mindset, right?
one. And I would say the second was I don't know enough. I used to tell myself I don't know enough. I'd want to do something, and I'm like, oh, I don't know enough. I got to keep studying, got to keep reading, got to keep talking to people about it. And you're never going to know enough. You're never gonna know it all.
No,
It's like you're learning
no.
as you go, you're learning as you grow. So I had to let go of that because there were so many things I'm like, no, I'm not good at that. I don't know enough about that. But it was like, you don't need to know
Yeah.
everything about something to get started.
Yeah, sometimes we're our worst critic and we are the cause of our own downfall because we, exactly what you said, we need to know enough. People get stuck in that planning phase and they never launch. People get stuck in the brainstorm phase and never get into the actual planning itself because of that same thought process. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
enough. So, moving into practical strategies in the network. Our initial connection was through networking. How has your approach to building and maintaining your network changed now that you're an entrepreneur and you're the director of this venue space? Is it more strategic or more
Um, yeah, no,
relational? Sorry.
it started off as strategic. I mean, it's always going to be a mix of both, but it definitely started off as strategic. And as I matured and settled into what I was doing, it was definitely relational. Not that I was necessarily one to make sure everybody had my card when I would go to a networking event, but I would always like to make sure I said hi to everyone. And now when I go networking, I'm not the same person at all. I will grab a drink. I'll go post up somewhere. I'm fine if it's just me by myself. You saw at Jingle Mingle the other night,
Hmm.
and I just
Yep.
let who
Yep.
gravitates toward me come toward me. And if I gravitate towards someone, I'll follow that. It's become a little more. It's like it's I guess a little intuition kind of a thing. It's an energetic thing.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm
Yeah.
not going out of my way to make sure like, oh, so and so's in the building. I'm not gonna go out of my way to make sure that I say hi to them. I'll just let it happen naturally. And then I guess also networking now is a lot more. There are a lot more introductions. A lot of folks will say, "Hey, come
Yeah.
to dinner. There's somebody I want you to meet," or "Hey, let's
Hmm.
have a drink with so and so." Oh, you don't know who that is? I'm happy. So there's a lot more of that happening now. And then,
Yeah.
just in the industry that I'm in and the demands of the job, there are a couple friends who I choose to kind of, just check out with. And in doing that, I meet more from their circle. And that's how I get to know people. So on that, just maybe personal level first. And then afterwards we
Yeah.
discover, oh, that's what you do. Oh my gosh. Well, let's try this together. So just the naturally having the compatibility and synergy, and then seeing if
Hmm.
there's an opportunity for us to do business or refer business to one another.
Hmm. I absolutely love that for sure. I think I'm in that same too. Yeah. I used to be like, yeah, I got to go talk to at least 50 people in this room and 100. Yeah. No, no, now it's definitely that same thing. I will go stand because I like food. I'll go stand by the table with the food and eat, and all the conversations will come to me because people are scared to. to eat at events. They're scared to do certain things in certain spaces. And I'm like, there's food here. Let's break bread and let's talk. Yeah, I also have a certain energy about myself, so people definitely kind of gravitate. I have different reactions. People are either like, "Oh man, she's really bold and out there, all these bright colors and crazy things going on. I need to stay away from her. She might be too much," or "I need to know who this
Yeah.
person is." It's usually those two reactions.
And it's also kind of like, marketing yourself in a sense that sometimes the first couple of impressions is just awareness, being seen. It doesn't necessarily need
Hmm.
to have the verbal exchange. And then after you've seen each other a
Hmm.
couple times, it's like, hey, didn't I? And then boom. So
Hmm.
yeah, just even being in the
Yeah.
room is a solid piece in itself. So yeah, that's why I have
Hmm.
no qualms standing back or drifting off to the side or
Absolutely.
just
Meanwhile, I came and was like,
yeah,
"Can I
I
sit with
was
you
like,
guys?"
welcome. And after you did that, how many people came and sat? And there was no one in the
A lot of
area.
people
There
came
was
and
no
sat
one
down.
over on that side. So I'm like, that's beautiful. It worked out perfectly.
Yeah, for sure. And then got right back. I didn't even finish my food, I don't think. Gosh. Sitting here thinking I had a whole chicken strip I needed to finish. um, can you share one non-traditional metric, something other than revenue, that you prioritize and use to measure success?
um, how smoothly things can operate in my absence. Yeah,
Hmm. That is a lovely, lovely answer.
that's my goal,
Yes.
no matter where I am. Because I know I bring a lot to the table. I know I do a lot. I know people are coming to me with questions and answers. And I'm always asking myself, how am I setting them up for success if I'm not there? The whole,
Yeah.
if I get hit by a bus, I don't like that negativity, but that's kind of what's fueled that. So if I hit the jackpot, if I
Yeah.
decide to mess around and put $20 and all of a sudden I hit a jackpot and I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
I'm gonna take a 1 month break, I'll be back. I don't want that to cripple the flow of, our business and organization. So, that's how I organize myself. I don't feel threatened to organize documents in a certain way and give access to people. I don't feel, threatened to list how I'm doing things and share it with somebody else. So that way, when they call me
Hmm.
and they're like, hey, I'm trying to find this, or how do I get to that? I'm like, okay, click this folder, click that folder, click the year, click the month, you'll see this, you'll see that. Or go to the meetings and agenda folder, click that one, open it up, scroll down to that date. You have
Hmm.
to. There are times that you're not always going to be
Yeah.
around. And I want things to have continuity beyond my presence. That's leaving a
Yeah.
legacy. I would feel I would feel like I wasted time if I built this incredible venue and something happened to me and it shutters within months or a year.
Yeah.
So I try to build things to last, not just to make money and have that success or notoriety. I build it for continuity. Unless that's not what it was meant to be built for, but
Hmm. No, but I love that answer simply because I go around telling a lot of people, you have big businesses who you look at, like, look at all these casinos that have just kind of gone down from out of nowhere. And we have looked at them for so long as, I need to work there. I probably get good pay. Things are probably amazing here. But the reality is their internal workflows were bad. Their finances were bad, not handling money properly, probably not having the right pro forma reports in place, and all these different things that you're talking about, having a workflow in place. And the owners are so far removed from it, and the people who are putting these things in place are not actually making it run properly, to where when they're away things
yeah.
fail. So I
And
absolutely
also
love your.
just being able to take that time off without worry, because some people take the time
Yeah.
off either way and God bless them, they can check out no problem. But I want to have that
Hmm.
peace of mind while I'm in Greece, I'm not worried like, what if she doesn't know how to respond, or what if so and so reaches out? Like, no, I'm at complete ease. I'm not worrying. I know everything is running
Yeah.
smoothly. That's my marker for success.
You should be able to come back and not find half the building
Yeah.
in flames.
Or I'm
Yeah.
clicking through the emails and there's just nowhere where I need to jump in. It's all been handled. That's, yeah, that feeling coming back from being gone for an extended amount of time and not coming back to like the exasperation of like, oh my God, that's,
Yeah. I mean, I felt like a stress relief for me for no reason, just because you said that, mainly because I love that type of process and workflow too. It brings me so
yeah.
much relaxation. Yeah. All right. So, what is one bad habit or limiting belief you are actively trying to cut out of your life this new year?
Um, Breaking my own boundaries to make something happen for somebody else. I tend to do that a lot. And it's not that I'm a people pleaser. I just find tremendous joy in people's visions or dreams being actualized, their goals being achieved. Like, and if I can help in any way, like I love to. But I realize
Yeah.
I've done that at my own expense, at my own personal expense, whether it's time, whether it's it's mostly time. But sometimes it's yeah, other resources. And I have my boundaries and my practices, my everything. And then someone comes along and I want to help support them, and I find myself bending my own rules sometimes for that. And that I'm not taking that into 2026. I mean, I'm not saying it'll completely stop, but I have more awareness, and like I
Yeah.
can sit with myself and make peace with, hey, doing this means I'm going against myself and how I do things. Do I still want to do that? Versus like, okay, I gotta make this
Hmm.
happen for somebody. Who cares that I'm doing that? So, yeah, I'm taking that into 2026 for sure.
I'm taking some notes because mhm, that's exactly though why we're on this call together today, because you have said a lot of things within our last conversations where I'm like, I completely agree. Like, I 100% agree. I think these would be some great talking topics, because I don't think that it's just us who feels this way or going through these things. And I'm not sure if it's just um, a certain mindset that goes through this, or if it's just the entrepreneur in us who's like, man, this might take me to other places that I want to be. So why not help? This is also showing off the tools that I have in my tool belt. So
Yeah.
I want to be able to
Well,
help.
I think that for me, it connects back to the fear based decision making. So here's a classic example. I like to have at least 4 weeks when booking an event. It's not as simple as it sounds the majority of the time, but here and
Yeah.
there, I'll make an exception for an urgency or a last minute request. And I found myself doing that more often. And I found myself doing that because I was like, man, I don't want to lose this gig, or I want to start to build that relationship, or, just making fear based decisions and going against my boundaries. And I think that happened 4 or 5 times in the past 30 days. And I was like, Mel,
Mm.
you need to put your foot down for yourself, for your sanity, for your peace of mind. And yeah, I'm not taking that into 2026 the way I have been carrying in the past, and especially this year. So,
Yeah, for sure. Now, I'm not the resolution maker at all. I'm not the person that makes resolutions. I recognize those things as well, and not specifically those things, but things that I want to change, and I start to try to just pivot in it. And sometimes it's easy, sometimes it takes a little longer, and I realize,
Yeah.
oh, I'm doing that again, you know.
So I do this thing where January through my birthday in June, I don't drink. This coming January will be the third year that I've done this, and I love it. I really do. That extended
Beautiful.
amount of clarity, the redirection of resources. Yeah, I feel supercharged when I have that continuous clarity. So, and you know me, I mean, I do parties, I invent all, like, there's a drink within 10 feet of me, no matter where I am.
Hmm. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
the
No, for real.
mental exercise of telling yourself no, that's the thing. You know, we're adults. We can live
Hmm.
our lives, you know, within reason, however we'd like. No one's punishing you if you decide to have your cheat day. You know, it's you and you.
Hmm.
So when I'm used to giving myself whatever I want and then denying myself from the things I want, that mental power, that strengthening is just for me.
Yeah. I feel that because, man, I'm not in the event space like you are, but just constantly networking. There's literally always a bar, there's always some alcohol, there's always some food. And, you know, I used to find that I did have to have whether it's a glass of wine or whatever they're serving to kind of start conversations. Now I just
Yeah.
walk in the room like, hey, like I'm I'm so tired from the day. I don't even care that I feel like, you know, alcohol is here. I just need to do what I came to
Yeah.
do and get home.
So I love that. Catch me in February. You'll be like, wow.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, I'm so looking forward to it because we got
Yeah.
big game out review. I'm super
Yeah.
excited about doing that with you. Um, it's been the topic of our conversations and board meetings lately and how it's going to be different from previous years. So I'm
We're
excited to collab
excited
with you on it.
as well. And actually, I do want to sidebar with you about that. I received an incredible offer that I want to run by you.
Would love, would love. What is the most crucial system? Rather, so we've been talking about all of the different things, and you know, walking away and leaving and coming back. So whether it's for time management, self care, content creation, what is the most crucial system that you implemented in the last within this 2025 season that you wish you had started 5 years ago?
It's a really good question. Um, I wouldn't say this started this past year. I think it would be 2024. I started doing this, but having a note taker in my meetings, it has given me back so much of my time. It's allowed me to focus so much on the conversation and be present. A lot of times before
Mm-hmm.
2025, if I'm having a call, I'm writing the notes. I'm not flowing in conversation with folks. And then afterward, rereading my notes, trying to organize it into this recap or email that I'm sending afterward. And that process was cumbersome. It would limit the amount of calls or meetings that I can be in every day. But with
Mm-hmm.
my AI note takers, oh, it's a game changer.
It's
It
beautiful
is.
out
And
here right
I don't
now.
necessarily want to go off on the AI tangent right now, but having that note taker has changed a lot for me. It's definitely made me more efficient and smooth. And yeah, no one wants to rely on just memory for what was said and what was not said,
Mm-hmm.
what was confirmed. And then when the meeting gets creative or there's just so much information being shared, I really want to receive it in the moment, not just hope I'm capturing and documenting at the same time. So yeah,
Yeah.
the having that system for me, it's hard to go back. Dude, when I set up a call and somebody's like, "Oh, I'll call you on your cell." Actually, I'm sending you the video link.
Yep. Yeah,
Yeah.
we will not be doing phone calls in these new
I mean,
seasons
I still
because
do
we
it. I
got.
still do it, but I'm very like about it. And if worst comes to worst, I'll just open it
Yeah.
up on my phone and just have it in the background or on my computer.
It also is like you can't, with the note taking and being able to record your meetings, nothing gets misconstrued. The client can't say, that's not what I wanted or that's not what I said. Well, let me press play
I'm
on
like,
this record.
this is a game changer. Again, remember legal background? Yeah. And it's funny. I've had clients kind of use my own name and nickname against me because I'll talk to them and I'll say, "Hey, this is how it has to happen, or this can't happen, or this is allowed, this is not." And I saw one client doing something, and I was like, "Hey, sorry, but this can't happen." And they're like, "Well, I spoke to Dot, and Dot said," and I'm like, I am Dot. But
I am not.
I had someone said, "Oh, Melissa," so she thought I was Melissa. But then when she tried to say, "Well, Dot said I could do it," and I'm like, "Well, I'm also Dot."
Okay, how did you get this? Because we're getting into the fast round and final thoughts. I want to know, how did you get the
I was
nickname?
around a lot of Melissas, and my last name was the only one that people couldn't say. So they would say, "Oh yeah, Melissa D. Dot," and then Melissa D. Dot just got chopped down to Dot. And this was in college. I was president of the Student Programming Council, and
Mm.
my VP was also a Melissa. So they were like Benz, Melissa D. Dot. And then that just got chopped down to Dot. But when I moved to Vegas, I moved as Melissa. I was like, I'm going to own my name again. And when I started at Freshwater, there were three other Melissas. So it was just like, oh, here comes
Mm.
Dot. So yeah.
So I'm glad you brought up your last name because you told me years ago an interesting story about your last name. I think it was because you have a
Yeah.
French last name. That's because I can't pronounce your last name
Deramo.
either. So
It's French, but my heritage is Haitian. My family is from Haiti. I'm first generation American, and yeah, I grew up saying my
yeah,
last name wrong just to make it sound English. I would say Desramo, but it's really Deramo, Deramo. So yeah, and it means from the palms. So yeah.
love. Now I had to go back in my memory for that. But let's finish this sentence. This year, the biggest ceiling I plan to break is.
This year, the biggest ceiling I plan to break is recording myself, like my poetry. Really want to break into the audio books, and I also want to break into songwriting. And I'm not a singer by any means. Yeah, I can hold a chord or tune here and there, but I would love to work with creatives and other artists and make some music. So that's the ceiling I'm breaking. That is the
That
ceiling I'm
sounds so
breaking.
fun.
I mean, I've been immersed in music, in the music scene in Vegas for quite some time, but usually just as a fan. Now I want to be
Hmm.
in there as a contributor. So I'm breaking that ceiling on my capabilities and understanding of music. I always feel, like I was saying earlier, I don't know enough. I can't read music. I don't know what an A chord is or G sharp, B sharp. Like I don't know any of that. But that doesn't change what I do
Yeah,
know and what I do feel when I hear music and sounds. And I want to be in that space. I want to contribute. So, and it's nothing where, again, like that I want to take the stage. I just want to be able to feel like I can hang in that arena and I can contribute in that arena and I'm known within that arena with people who are doing things. I don't necessarily want to step back into marketing and be like, I'm a songwriter. But when I'm with songwriters, I want them to respect and recognize like that is something I can do and I do well. So, yeah.
I love that. What is one simple, actionable piece of advice you would give to someone listening right now who is looking at their big goals for 2026 and feeling completely overwhelmed?
Document your your progress, your actions. Have something tangible that you can look back on and reference, because you're constantly setting goals for yourself, and they are just going to keep getting bigger and bigger, and you'll forget some of the things you did accomplish because you're reaching for that next thing. So document that for yourself, your progress, your actions, so that you can look back and be honest with yourself as well, on the progress you've made and the achievements you made, and not be down on yourself because you have this new big goal that's intimidating or hard to reach.
Yeah, 100%. You've been given some excellent advice. Last but not least, where can the decoders connect with you and find your
LinkedIn is
incredible work?
my main right now, and I know my name is difficult, but yeah, if you're sharing this, seeing this, reading this, looking me up on LinkedIn is my new favorite way to connect. I do have an Instagram. It's a mouthful to spell it, but I'll share it with you if you do want to post it. And yeah, those are the two main ways, and of course, email. I'm an email freak. I don't know if that makes me old school, but yeah.
Email, okay. I tell people like to text me different things, graphics, visual text, whatever that they want on something. I'm like,
Yeah.
email that to me. Email that to me. I also like physical cards. The digital cards don't really do it for me. I forget who I'm talking to. There's just so much detachment from certain things, even though this is ironically code breakers and we're breaking down all things technology, mindset, and entrepreneurship. I am such a traditional girly. I give me a pen and
Yeah.
paper, give me
I do love to
something
write
tangible.
cards. I don't do it often. And I should get back to that, but I love writing cards to friends. Now they've become these heartfelt text messages that I'll send. But yeah, if I get the opportunity to write someone a card, I will do it. I have a whole stationery at home, but I barely go into that closet.
Yes. Well, if you send me something from your stationery for the holiday season, that is going to be the next moment that makes me squeal.
Well, we shall
Yes, I
see.
love those. Well, thank you so much, Jot. I
Likewise.
absolutely love this conversation. This is probably one of my favorite conversations all year long. I was supposed to do 12 episodes this year, one episode per month. We kind of got sidebarred. I did have a partner in this. I absolutely, shout outs to Anna Lynn. She decided she had a lot on her plate this year, so I started it back up last month, and so this is episode 2
Well,
going into the new
congratulations
year
for
for me.
starting it
So,
back up.
I
No, these conversations are
well, thank you
helpful.
so
I
much.
love having deep talks like this, and I think it's beautiful to have that with you, but then to also share that with others. So thank you for bringing me on here. Thank you for doing what you're doing. And I'm very looking forward to 2026 and all the opportunities that we'll be collaborating on.
Yes, thank you for being here and being such an amazing person.